Welcome to the Service Department News Podcast, where we discuss all the latest news and developments from across the service department, apart hotel and extended stay sectors. Okay, so today I'm speaking with Claire Parry, Director of Week2Week Service Departments. Claire, how has the pandemic affected your business in the Northeast in terms of occupancy and customer profile?
It's been a challenging time, George. We've seen the biggest impact, I think, for us has been reduction in international business. Occupancy, we were quite fortunate at the start of lockdown to support in-house clients and key workers throughout. So we've seen about a 20% reduction compared to previous years. We've very much been working with, future business or business at the time has been very reactive. So our lead time for bookings has gone from between 10 and 30 days. During lockdown, it was between 1 and 3. People were booking on the day almost because of the environment. We have seen also, since some of the restrictions were lifted, we've seen an increase in leisure travel, which has been a big change. We've seen a lot of people travelling with families, staycations, and that sort of thing. And obviously, the big change was the online travel agency business during lockdown was zero, which is now returned, fortunately, and we're seeing more corporate clients coming through using those channels. But it was, like I say, for that to be reduced to zero was quite different to how we've been working prior to lockdown.
Mm-hmm. Before the pandemic, you put a lot of effort into marketing to overseas customers, and you mentioned that business has dried up. So where did you switch your focus to in terms of marketing, and when do you think the overseas guests will start returning?
When we went into lockdown, we were fortunate that we were supporting some of our overseas clients that couldn't return home. So we supported them throughout lockdown. The future business that for international clients was put on hold over lockdown. Since some of the restrictions have been lifted, we've seen a small number of overseas visitors coming from different areas. We've seen people come in from the US, for example, Germany, more recently Switzerland, USA, some of them staycations, some of them business. Our focus, we're constantly reviewing our strategy at the moment to align with regulations and support visitors. For us, we're seeing more sort of longer leisure stays, where people are coming to see families. We're seeing business travellers where they're coming in and perhaps quarantining for 14 days before onward travel, etc. And we're still managing with a shorter lead time as well for clients. Corporate clients, we're seeing projects are slowly, coming back. A bit of an upturn, but again, it's a slow burner, George. So, we're very much, monitoring the situation and adapting as much as we can.
Yeah. And have your growth plans in terms of adding new properties been put on hold, or are you going ahead with those?
We've taken on 4 apartments of late to complement our existing portfolio. So we've been working on, again, since restrictions have been lifted slightly. So we've been completing some furnishing projects on those. So we're not taking on huge amounts, but we are, like I say, we've taken on some of late. So I haven't stopped it entirely. It's just a more slow growth, if you like.
Yeah. And do you think potential landlords and investors in the Northeast have been attracted to the service department model, having seen how it's performed through lockdown compared with other asset classes?
Definitely. I think some landlords as well have more voids this year, George, because we the situation with international students and things, I think, has been affected. So there's more available properties this year, which is the first year really where we've seen volume available at the start of term. Some of them, we have actually transformed a couple of them into service departments. Some of them, not all student accommodation is appropriate for service departments. It doesn't always meet, the expectations, and sometimes the transformation or the location might not be a good match. So, for me, talking to landlords, it's about, sharing best practice and supporting them as much as we can. And whilst service departments is attractive, it's not always, a good fit for every property.
Yeah. Claire, what have been the most important things you've learned from trading through this very unusual year, and how do you think you can apply them to your business in the future?
Wow, it's been such a challenging time. I think, I'm so proud of the team that we work with, and how we've adapted when faced with adversity. We've reviewed our strategy, regularly throughout this process, George, and we did preempt, a change in traveller needs leading up to lockdown. And some of that strategy we were able to continue with throughout. Like I say, we were able to support in-house guests remotely, which, normally we would be a little bit more hands-on. So, we adapted in the sense that housekeeping, we delivered linen to clients, serviced cleans were put on hold, for example. We were at the other end of the phone to support clients, sometimes for our international clients, depending on how much they travel, it was quite a lot for them to deal with. So we were able to support them, as much as we could remotely. With team-wise, we've always, because we, a lot of, us have family members and children, we've always set up the business remotely. So, we've got everything's online based, so we can work from home. So for me, it was really important to keep the team, keep the level of communication going, keeping the team engaged and supporting each other throughout. So, we had daily, calls and Zooms being a, godsend throughout the process. I love Zoom now. And Zoom gives us such a massive reach, prior to lockdown, a lot of events, etc., London centric. I think we've talked about this in the past, George, and Zoom really opens that up, and we've been able to regularly, chat and network with people, that we would only see maybe 3-4 times a year, and we're now communicating and chatting with them on a weekly or monthly basis, which is fantastic. So I do hope that continues in the industry, because I think that's really good.
Yeah.
What else have we? We coped during a reactive situation, and we worked quickly to really enhance our trust ethos with direct clients and in-house clients, and that's something that we're very passionate about anyway. But for me, it was about making that visible. So we made changes to our website to incorporate our measures that were put in place for COVID. We carried out risk assessments and the stringent cleaning protocol that we brought in. We communicated that with not only with our property owners, for example, with our clients, with our team, and really adjusted. And we were able to diversify massively in the way that we worked. And I'm really proud, and I love that about our industry, that we can adapt. We were able to support people, not only, clients in Newcastle, but also support people that were looking for good, clean, recommended accommodation in other areas in the country as well. And again, building into that trust ethos with Week2Week, they bought into that and they were able to stay comfortably with with confidence. We had a lot of anxiety from corporate clients, where they were genuinely worried about cleanliness, who's going into the apartments, and that sort of thing. And the protocol and the way that we communicated it really made a difference in reassuring. Like I say, because for me, everybody's journey has been different, and we always adapt. And we're always hands on or hands off, depending on the client's needs. It's about making sure that they're happy and their needs are catered for. Like I say, and the changes that we made during that is just like I say, I'm very proud of the team and what we've done, really.
Yeah, great. Finally, Claire, what is your 5-year vision for Week2Week?
Yeah. So for me, an interesting question, George. For me, really, it's very simple, in the sense that for me, I want to just continue to welcome business and leisure visitors to the region and strengthen what we do. That's really it in a nutshell.
Great, Claire. Thanks very much for your time today.
You're very welcome. It's good talking to you.
Thanks for listening to the Service Department News podcast. If you'd like to keep up to date with all the latest industry news, head over to servicedepartmentnews.com and sign up to our twice-weekly newsletter. Service Department News is part of the International Hospitality Media portfolio. This November, IHM is launching the Urban Living Festival in London, welcoming urban innovators and investors at the cutting edge of contemporary hospitality and real estate. Don't miss out on a great opportunity to reconnect with your peers and investors face to face, while helping to define where we stay, live and work. For more details, visit urbanlivingfestival.com.